Hello, this is Mr. Holland, and today we're going to be discussing that bold renegade who carves a Z with his blade, the horseman known as Zorro. Yeah. So, I recently acquired the first three Zorro books, which I have read. They are very good. They're kind of different from what you would expect, considering, like, we know Zorro so well from film and television. Zorro's a bit different here, but not too different. I would say that as you progress through the books, he becomes more and more the Zorro we all know. Um, yeah, so let's see. The first book actually starts off with Zorro's last adventure slash first adventure, The Curse of Capistrano, aka The Mark of Zorro. I know it's confusing. This book was originally called The Curse of Capistrano, but was later changed to The Mark of Zorro after the Douglas Fairbanks movie. Douglas Fairbanks was actually a fan. He was on a yacht cruise to Europe, I think, and he was reading the Zorro story by Johnston Macaulay, and he was such a fan of that story, he wanted to adapt it into his next movie, which became The Mark of Zorro, the original silent one, starring Douglas Fairbanks, obviously. Anyway, there's some short stories in here, too, when Zorro was earlier in his career. The second book, actually, as you can see right here, I'm going to show you the books really quickly. This is the first book with the book and the short story. This is the second book with another book and some other short stories. And yeah, this is the third book that I have with a smaller book and a lot of short stories. So, what is Zorro? Zorro is like, essentially it means the fox. It's Spanish for the fox. All my Spanish viewers, I'm pretty sure, can back me up on this. If I have any Spanish viewers. I need to check the demographics of my viewership. I think it's mainly just people who hate me and want me dead. But anyway, that's not the point. I'm still doing these videos and I need to get better. Anyway, that's not the point. Zorro is the point. And in this one is his last adventure. Then, like, in the next one, he continues the adventure of... Well, it's not the last adventure. It's like... I kind of screwed up. I'm sorry. Keep watching, though. This right here is the adventure where Zorro reveals his identity. Like, the last time Zorro had a secret identity is the last Zorro adventure. Like, there are other Zorro adventures. This next one has, like, Zorro having revealed his identity to the populace. I probably shouldn't have said any of that. Fuck. Okay, well, we're gonna continue. This one has pirates in it. Zorro versus pirates, and it's great. I love pirates, and I love Zorro. Actually had... actually had an idea for writing a Zorro story involving pirates, and maybe I still should, but, regardless, it's already been written, so who knows. There are also some short stories in here of Zorro's escapades. Jake, get down! Cat's messing with the lighting, because that's what cats do! Anyway, there's going to be some lighting issues, because I'm still going to record this. This Zorro book is really good. These Zorro books are really good. Zorro's a bit different, though, and as I said, he becomes more and more the Zorro we know, but he carves his Z into people's flesh, not their clothing. Anyway, the vaqueros in there are not to be messed with either, and, yeah. So anyway, this continues like Zorro's adventures. He's to be wed and everything. And then this is the next one where Zorro... Actually, let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. This book has Zorro versus a false Zorro, disreputing his name, which seems to be a theme among these books. Like, there's a lot of false Zorros running around that Zorro has to deal with. Like, can't we just have, like, some evil businessman or something he's got to take on? Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. I really like the Zorro stories. They're really fun. They're really adventurous. And anyway, Zorro went on to do movies. In 1920, there was the Douglas Fairbanks movie. In 1940, I believe, came The Mark of Zorro with Tyrone Power. In the 50s, there was the Walt Disney Zorro with Guy Williams. That is actually my favorite Zorro, by the way. The Disney version of Zorro. I love that Zorro. Guy Williams is the best Zorro, by the way. Antonio Banderas might have had a real shot at it, but he didn't spend enough time in the role for me to consider him the best Zorro. As it is, I consider him the second best Zorro. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of Zorro stuff. You know, there was like a family television Zorro. There was Zorro porno. I've never seen it, obviously. No, I wish I could see it, but I don't know where to get it. Anyway, it's not the point. I'm talking about Zorro porn. I need a girlfriend. Okay, let's see. Yeah, then there was The Mask of Zorro and The Legend of Zorro, which is a really underrated movie, The Legend of Zorro. I still think it's so underrated. Does it have some issues? Yes, but as a whole, it's a really good family Zorro adventure. And, yeah, Zorro can be for the whole family, not just like edgy teens, you know? So, yeah, let's see. There was also Queen of Swords in the early 2000s. I'm really liking that show. It has, has the guy from Stargate SG-1, the evil Goa'uld that came from the Toker. You know what, never mind. I'm not going into SG-1 right now. But check out Stargate SG-1. It's pretty good, too. And Stargate Atlantis. And Stargate, the extended cut of the movie. But we're talking about Zorro. So, yeah, let's continue with Zorro. There haven't been very many good video games starring Zorro. I still think Ubisoft, if they don't go down in flames, still is probably the best shot at a Zorro video game. Mainly based on Assassin's Creed 2. I know they could do a really good Zorro game. They're not going to, but, you know, whatever. Another good idea laid to waste. Anyway, Zorro. So, yeah, was Zorro real? That's kind of complicated. There is, like, a bandit in Old California. I think his name was Joaquin Murrieta. He's sort of like the Robin Hood of Old Mexico. Bandit, though, probably wasn't somebody you'd want to come across, really. Probably not very friendly. I don't know. Point is, like, there's theories that Johnston McCulley based Zorro off of Joaquin Murrieta. Anyway, if you're wondering more about Joaquin Murrieta and the guy who, like, took him, that'd be Captain Love. You see both of them in The Mask of Zorro. It's, like, a really cool historical adventure / Zorro adventure. They merge Zorro with history, and it's just really fascinating. So, yeah, I like that, you know. As they said in one of these intros, like, Zorro seems to be living in a historical vacuum. They don't really mention many, if any, events going on at the time it takes place. So, if you just want pure adventure and no politics, like, yeah, Zorro might be your option. So, do you like Zorro? Have you ever heard of Zorro? How have you heard of Zorro? I think I said, what's your favorite Zorro? Zorro show, Zorro movie, Zorro literature, Zorro video game? I don't know. I have some Zorro comic books, too, by Dell. It was actually done by Alex Toth. He is one of the premier action comic book people. He pretty much laid out all the rules of action in comic books that so many people grew up reading, and they pretty much imported that action into their comic books. That's why comic books in the 80s and 90s were so action-packed, because they had read Alex Toth. Well, nobody today has even heard of Alex Toth, so the action in comic books kind of sucks. Anyway, comic books kind of suck too. Movies do too, and television. Everything sucks now. Just go into the past. Everything good is in the past. Anyway, I'm trying to create new stuff for the future, though. There's a lot of us trying to do that, so check out the new stuff we're creating in the independent scene. So, anyway, Alex Toth went on to do, he was always doing movies and cartoons and comic books. Then he went to do cartoons, and all he could do was comic book characters. So he came up with Space Ghost and all those others. But I just think it's funny because of Alex Toth, I got Space Ghost Coast to Coast as a teen. Okay, I will let you go. It's been fun talking about Zorro, but it's time for me to retire. So remember,